Ali here at mindwavemeditation.com, and today we're going to talk about fear of failure. Nobody likes to fail. Nobody ever said, I love failing. It really makes me feel connected to what I do. It really makes me understand what I do and helps me break through in all my successes. Nobody ever says that because nobody ever wants to admit that failing really is the key to success. It's without success, whoa, check this guy out. Failure to spot a massive curl. No one ever tells you that failing is the secret. It's something that we all have to go through continuously. We have to fail, otherwise we never will succeed. Failure is the key to being successful. End of story. There's no way around it. You cannot climb that mountain without failing at trying to climb the mountain at some point. You can't go through a yoga class and it be a complete breeze all the way through without having some kind of struggle. It's the duality of life. We have the yin, the yang, the light, the dark, and together as a whole, this is what creates your success. And in this video, we're going to talk about that and just break it down really simply so you can learn to embrace the failure. God forbid, embrace the failure and realize it's part of the actual journey of where you're going and what you're trying to accomplish. So keep watching, like, subscribe, share the video and all that jazz, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so fear of failure. Number one. This is the thing, okay? Nobody's going to tell you this. And if they do, listen to those people. But learning to fail and learning to fail hard, right, is the greatest gift for your success to be. Now, at the time, failing sucks. Nobody likes to fail. It feels icky, it feels sticky, you feel ashamed, you feel embarrassed, you feel just low, and nobody likes that. We can all agree. However, the lessons that you learn in failing help you beyond your imagination of failure to talk properly. The lessons that you learn in failing help you to achieve things that you never thought were ever possible. So I'm going to just do a little riff and tell you some things I've failed at and what I've learned, and then through that we'll talk about how you can transition your failures into your successes too. So, okay, when I used to be really messy, drinky, smoky, doodly, I didn't really think about how I was coming across because I was completely unconscious to everything. One of my biggest cringy moments was I went to my local bar, which I used to work at, and I said to my friend, can I go on the open mic? I want to do open mic. And he said, no, I think you've had too much. I don't think you should do that. And I said, no, and he said, okay. So I went up, and look, I was inebriated beyond. And I started singing a song, and the song was by a band called Sublime, and the chorus goes, it's so nice, I wanna hear the same song twice. It's so nice, I wanna hear the same song twice. I played that song twice in a row while singing that chorus and didn't realize, I finished the first song, everyone clapped, and then I played the same song again. And it wasn't until I saw my girlfriend, now wife, in the crowd, just with her head down, shaking her head, and it all dawned on me. I was like, oh my God, I've just embarrassed myself beyond belief. And I came round in the chorus, it's so nice. Have I done this before? A minute ago? I took my guitar off and I just walked out the door and sat there, just embarrassed. And the next day it was a cringy moment and I shook it off. that's nothing in comparison to some people. But it was a moment for me to realize that musically, I wasn't doing myself any favors. You know, this is in front of all of my friends, the people I work with. You know, there's a kind of a responsibility that comes along with an artist. You know, you can do funny things and you can slip up, but if you keep repeating yourself like this, it's just tragic. And tragic isn't something I was intending to achieve. Tragic status, not on my checklist. So that was a big moment for me to go, wow, I failed big time there. It was only a small thing that nobody really saw, but it was big enough for me to go, okay, I need to sort this out. I can't just be wandering up playing open mic nights like out of my tree. I need to kind of rein it in and really, you know, play shows when I can play them, just as a benchmark, you know. So that was a big turning point for me. I really changed my ways after that gig, because embarrassment is something that I was never really a fan of. And the thing is with embarrassment is you've got two ways you can go when you're embarrassed. You can feel incredibly embarrassed and you can retreat and you want the whole world to not see you, and just you can't face the people. Maybe you said something, you were drunk, or you did something stupid, or you made a massive error. You can retreat and just wait for the world to come round again. Just wait for a whole new day. Or you can go the other way and own it. I've seen people do some stupid stuff in pubs before. I used to work in pubs. Some stupid, crazy things. And I've seen those people walk straight back in the pub the next day, completely own it. And let me tell you, when people do walk in the next day and face their, you know, shame and embarrassment, people love that. They no longer want to joke about that. They honor that in some sense. Like, wow, look at them, they really owned it. Well, moving on to the next thing. What did Dave say? You know, it's people forget like that. So no matter what it is, face it, move on. Another failure for me was growing up. I was always like the needy one in a relationship. I was always the one that loved them way more than they could possibly love me, and I just kind of thought that that's how my mind was at the time when I was younger, and I was like, I just was over the top, you know, very, very hey all the time. And my last kind of real relationship when I was like, before I was married, it ended like that, with me going, oh wow, you were the needy one. And I kind of saw that as a failure in relationships. Like, it wasn't equal, it was one person needing the other person. And from that relationship, which ended and I felt like a failure, like I did it wrong, you know, I learned that that's not how I want to be anymore. And it took me that one relationship to go, oh, I don't want to be a needy guy. Nobody likes that. When you're on the other end of that, it's kind of ew. You know, you see those guy or girl, doesn't matter. When one person needs the other one so much so that the other person is being repelled. It's a bit gross. So I didn't decide consciously, but I think that relationship taught me that that's not how I want to be. And it was a beautiful realization looking back, going, oh wow, I'm far from that needy person. I enjoy an equal amount of love and respect in a relationship, and it's awesome. But I never would have had that if I hadn't failed hard on that last relationship. So I'm really thankful for that. Oh, what else have I failed at? Music. I've been a musician for years, and you know, I've put music out constantly over and over again, but never really tried that hard. I kind of I was in one band for a long time, and we didn't know what we were doing. We were just kids, and I never really took it seriously. I just loved it so much I never really thought about it. And as you get older, you start to think about this. And I looked back at my failings, and thought, wow, this isn't going to go away. This is something I really, really love. This is my life. Music is my passion. If I get a moment to myself, it's music time. That's when you know you really, really love something, is when everything else goes away. What do you think about? So I realized that I needed to keep this sustainable. I needed longevity, and I wasn't creating any of that. I was just putting stuff out and not really caring where it went, or, it was just fun. But if I was honest with myself, it wasn't just for fun. I wanted it to be a career. I wanted it to be a career. So I really had to start looking at my failings and learning from these failings. So now that you've had a few laughs at what I've failed at, I want you to think about what you failed at. Big or small, just little things, and see where these failings are falling into what categories. I had been a bit messy, failing pretty well at that. Relationships, failure repeating in the same thing, needy. And then I had career, failing pretty hard on the musical front, but loving it. So what I want us to do now is find these categories. Instead of just a blanket failing, oh, I'm failing at this, what are you failing at? And where do you want to sweep around that? So where are you failing? Where in life are you failing, and where does it really matter? And then once you've figured that out, we can find out exactly what we do want. And what do we want? We want to succeed. We want to succeed where we keep failing, but we also want to experience the failure not as, oh, fail. We need to see it as, oh, this is part of the bigger picture here. Once you've thought about what you've failed at pretty hard, and you realized that it's in pockets of places: career, relationship, emotions. Now it's just a case of getting a magnifying glass and looking into those categories and deciding what you're going to do about it. Mine was simple. I need to sort my act out. I needed to create a plan and a strategy to become successful in the areas that I wanted to. So I sweeped up all that stuff. I made sure that I would only play gigs when I was sober or not inebriated. A small step, but I stopped doing embarrassing things when I played live. That made me feel successful and happy. And I had less stories to tell, but I had a lot more fun memories. Relationships, I decided what I didn't want and who I didn't want to be, so the next person I attracted into my life or aligned with or whatever, it was equal. It wasn't there wasn't one person like this. We were both on an equal path, and it's been a beautiful relationship. Tick. Career. Dived into my career and honored my music and set it up and set the foundations and kept on going consistently, and slowly it's building. So the key really is create your strategy, create your commitment plan, and decide what you don't want to do anymore, and then keep moving forward into these areas and realize that the failure will always happen, but it doesn't have to be an incredibly embarrassing experience. So what do you want to be successful at? Write that down below, even if it's just for you to say it out loud, type it. What areas of life do you want to be successful at? And as you write that or think that, just know that there's no way you're ever gonna have a hit every time. You're never going to hand in the perfect piece of work every single time. There's always going to be a point where someone says, not sure about this. Can you redo that? But I thought it was perfect. How dare you? I gave my songwriter buddy a track the other day, and when I know it's good, we call it the green light. I know it's going to be good. He's going to like it all the way through, and I'd say about 90% of the time he's like, yeah, awesome. And it's like, next song. This one, he ripped it apart, and he made some very funny references which made me feel really embarrassed. And because I didn't care, and my skin is thick enough now to, you know, shake it off, we had a laugh about it and it was great. And I rewrote it this morning and it's way better. It's way better. It's way cooler. And without me failing there in that moment, someone calling me on something that I knew wasn't as good as what I could do, it breathes for new creativity. It breathes for better work, for better success, when you really look at these parts of you that could be better. And there's only a couple of things to remember. Decide to be successful no matter what. In your relationship, in your work, in money, in career, in anything else. Just decide right now that you are going to be a success. You are successful. To make it even better, present tense. I am successful at whatever. Decide that. That's the first thing you need to do. Do that right now. The second thing, once you've made that decision, is to just not give a just don't. Just do not give a hoot. Do not care about what anybody else thinks in terms of you delivering, creating, allowing, believing in what you want to achieve or create or whatever. You've got to do it, and you've got to not care what anybody else thinks. There's two types of people in this world, really. There's creatives and critics. I'd say number 3 is to learn to laugh at yourself. If you can laugh at yourself in the moment of failing, you have won. It's like when bullies like to find a weak spot and they really get in there and they really like to expose your weakness. And if you can expose that weakness first or in the moment or make a joke of it, then there's no power behind it anymore. The bully kind of goes, that's kind of the whole part of the fun of bullying, is exposing the weakness. And if you've already done that, then not a lot left for me to do here. Who else can I bully? And that's really the truth of it. It's the same with failing. If you can look at your failure and own it big time and go, wow, I really failed hard there, and just be at peace with it and laugh at it if you can. The quicker you can get back to that place of going, you know what, whatever, back to the drawing board, let's go. Life just gets so much easier, just so much easier. And practice it with every single time you fail. Anything, failing in an argument, in something you said you didn't mean to say, you know, get back on that phone, text and say, you know what, I was out of order, I was whatever, I failed there, can you give me another chance? Failing at work, own it, just always own it, fail and own it. I think the last thing really is, do not take life so seriously. I like to do this thing when life gets a bit overwhelming and it's, you know, we'll go through really heavy things and difficult things. And sometimes we can just let the small things really take over our day right here, right now. And I like to just kind of imagine that kind of come out my body, come out the house, go above and above and above. And do it with me, you might as well. Close your eyes. Go on. look away, close your eyes, and imagine you're coming out of the world and you're looking back at the world and you can see the world and it's really, 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 really small. And then you keep floating out and out and out in space and you realize we're actually part of a multiverse that's in infinite space. So you keep coming out and it's like Earth is just a grain of sand amongst billions of grains of sand. And you just realize that your problems are really, really meaningless in the grander scheme of things. But also, by that same token, they're everything as well. You can open your eyes again now. And it really is like that. Life is everything. Your life is so meaningful, it's so important. So I get it, failing is awful, it sucks. And we have this giant fear of it. But also on the other hand, what does it matter? What does it matter if you sing the same song twice, or you need someone more than the other in a relationship and it takes you a while to figure these things out, or you were on the wrong career path, or whatever? What does it really, really matter at the end of the day? So the key is here is to look at what you're really scared of and really think, is this worth being so scared of? Can I find somewhere where I can find the comedy in this and the lesson in this, the silver lining, or how I can be better from looking at what I've failed at? And just know that that failure is part of your success. It's part of the same story. It's not just one failure. It's not just one success. There's always failure in success. That's what I think. Comment down below what your thoughts. Let me know what you failed at. Like the video, share the video, all that jazz. And I'll see you in the next one. Big love.